A bird does not usually arrive at your feeder by accident. Before it lands, it may pause on a fence rail, drop into a shrub, flick across the roof line, or circle the yard once and disappear without touching a single seed. To us, that can look random. Maybe the feeder is full, the water is clean, the seed is fresh, and still the birds hesitate. But the problem is not always the feeder. Long before a chickadee, sparrow, finch, tit, cardinal, or robin lands in a backyard, it is moving through a kind of invisible flight map, not a map in the human sense. Birds are not standing there planning routes like we would, but they do read the space around them very quickly. They respond to cover, open gaps, shadows, glass, noise, movement, landing spots, and possible escape routes. And that means a yard that looks peaceful to you may look risky to them. The first clue is often where the birds stop before they enter. Many backyard birds do not fly straight to a feeder from far away. They may approach in stages: a tree at the edge of the yard, a fence post, a low branch, the top of a shed. Then, if the space feels usable, they move closer. Each stop gives them a chance to look, listen, and react. This is why you may see birds gathering in a neighbor's tree but ignoring your feeder just 20 feet away. The seed may not be the issue. The root may be. A feeder sitting in the middle of an open lawn can seem ideal from a human point of view. It is easy to see, easy to fill, easy to watch from the window. But to a small bird, open space can be a danger zone. There is nowhere to break the line of sight, nowhere to duck behind, nowhere to vanish if a hawk appears or a cat moves through the grass. To a bird, that empty space is not empty. It is exposed. This is especially important for smaller birds that feed in quick visits. Chickadees and tits often dash in, take a seed, and leave. Finches may settle longer if they feel secure. Sparrows often prefer edges, brush, and low cover. Cardinals frequently use shrubs and thickets as staging points before moving into a feeding area. Robins may be comfortable on lawns when they are searching for worms, but even they are alert to movement, open sightlines, and escape cover. Different birds use a yard differently, but many of them are asking the same basic question before they land. Can I get in safely, and can I get out quickly? That is the hidden part of backyard bird behavior many homeowners miss. We focus on what we offer. Birds also respond to how they can reach it. A good feeding area often has nearby cover, but not cover that is too close in the wrong way. A shrub, small tree, brush pile, or branching perch can give birds a safe waiting place. It lets them approach in short flights instead of one long exposed crossing. It gives them a place to retreat when a blue jay swoops in, when a squirrel climbs the pole, or when a person opens the back door. But cover can also create risk if it hides predators. A dense bush directly under a low feeder may help nervous birds feel close to shelter, but it can also give an outdoor cat a place to wait. A feeder pressed tightly against a tall hedge may seem cozy, yet it may reduce visibility. Birds often need both cover and a clear view. They benefit from escape routes, but they also need time to detect danger. The most useful yard is not always the thickest yard. It is a yard with layers. A tall tree or roof edge may serve as the first lookout. A fence may become a temporary perch. A shrub may provide a closer landing point. A small branch near the feeder may act as the final pause before feeding. From there, birds can move in, feed briefly, and leave by more than one route. That last part matters. A yard with only one safe entry point can become busy for a while, then suddenly go quiet. One disturbance can block the whole route. A neighbor's cat crosses under the tree. A hawk lands nearby. A lawn mower starts. A child runs through the yard. A reflective window catches the light in a way that looks strange. If there is only one reliable path in and out, birds may avoid the area until conditions change. This is one reason birds sometimes circle before landing. They may not be confused. They may be checking the approach. They may be looking for other birds already feeding. They may be scanning for movement. They may be adjusting their angle because of wind, shadows, or obstacles. A small bird flying into a yard has to make decisions quickly, and landing is one of the most vulnerable moments of its visit. Feet down means speed drops, wings adjust, attention shifts. For a moment, the bird is easier to catch. That is why landing zones matter. A bare metal feeder pole in the middle of the lawn offers food, but it may not offer a comfortable approach. A nearby branch, shepherd's hook, fence rail, or small tree can change the whole pattern. Birds may use these spots as stepping stones. They land, look around, then drop to the feeder when the space seems calm. But sometimes the mistake is not what you put out, it is where you put it. A feeder placed too close to a large window can create a serious hazard. Birds may see reflected trees or sky in the glass and try to fly through what appears to be open space. This risk can be higher when feeders are in flight paths that line up with windows, or when frightened birds flush suddenly from the feeder and head straight toward the reflection. A yard can have good food and still contain a dangerous exit route. This is why window safety belongs in any discussion of bird movement. Screens, external window markings, closely spaced decals, cords, or other visible treatments can help break up reflections. The key is that birds need to see the glass as a barrier before they are moving at speed. A single small sticker in the corner is often not enough to change what the whole pane appears to be. The invisible flight map includes the windows, even when we forget they are there. Water has its own route pattern too. A bird bath set in the wide open may attract a few bold visitors, especially in hot weather. But bathing is risky. Wet feathers can make takeoff slower for a short time. Birds may prefer water that has a clear view around it with cover nearby, not overhanging it so tightly that danger could hide there. A bath near a low branch or shrub edge can be useful, as long as cats and other predators are not given a perfect ambush point. The same balance appears again and again. Not too exposed, not too hidden, not too far from cover, not buried so deeply in cover that visibility disappears. A good yard gives birds options. One common mistake is placing every bird feature in the most convenient place for people. The feeder goes where it is easiest to refill. The bath goes where the hose reaches. The shrubs are trimmed so the lawn looks tidy. The dead branches are removed because they look messy. The fence line is cleared. The result may be neat, but it can leave birds with no stepping stones. Many birds are edge users. They like transitions. Tree to lawn, shrub to open ground, fence to garden bed, hedge to feeder. A completely open yard may be easy to mow, but it can be difficult for birds to use. A yard with no small perches near the feeder may force every bird to make a long direct flight. A yard with no escape cover may be visited only when food is scarce or when bolder species dominate. And dominance matters. If larger birds or squirrels control the easiest landing points, smaller birds may hang back. A cardinal on a feeder, a starling group in the open, or a squirrel on the pole can change the traffic pattern. Smaller birds may wait in a shrub, shift to spilled seed under cover, or leave for a quieter food source. What looks like rejection may simply be crowd management. Birds are not just choosing food, they are choosing timing, angle, and safety. You can often read this by watching where they pause. If birds repeatedly land on the same fence post before using the feeder, that post is part of the route. If they always enter from the same tree, that tree is a gateway. If they feed only when the dog is inside, the yard has a disturbance pattern. If they scatter toward the same shrub whenever something moves, that shrub is an escape route. Once you notice these patterns, the yard starts to look different. A roofline is not just a roofline. It can be a lookout. A branch is not just a branch. It can be a landing platform. A narrow gap between shrubs can be a safe corridor. A bright window can be a false opening. A clean lawn can be a risky crossing. And a feeder is not a destination by itself. It is one stop inside a larger route. So what actually helps? Start by watching before moving anything. Notice where birds enter, where they hesitate, and where they flee. Then think in short distances. A small bird often benefits from having a safe pause point within a reasonable flight of the feeder. That might be a shrub, a small tree, a brushy edge, or a simple branch placed where it does not create an ambush spot. Keep feeders far enough from dense hiding places that cats cannot spring from cover, but close enough to trees or shrubs that birds do not feel stranded in the open. The exact distance depends on the yard, the species, and the local risks, so there is no single perfect number for every home. Reduce window danger wherever birds fly toward glass. Make reflective panes visible from the outside. Move feeders if frightened birds are flushing directly at a window. Keep cats indoors when possible, and do not create low hiding places beneath feeders or baths. Add layers gradually. A native shrub, a small tree, a brush pile in the right corner, or a few natural perches can make a yard easier to navigate. Even leaving some structure along a fence line can help birds move through the space with less exposure. Then give it time. Birds may not change their habits the same day. They learn safe routes through repeated experience. Seasonal movement also changes who visits and how they behave. A yard that is busy in winter may feel different in nesting season. A feeder that works for finches may not suit robins. A water source that attracts chickadees may be ignored by birds that prefer ground feeding or denser cover. The goal is not to create a perfect yard for every bird. The goal is to make the yard more readable, more usable, and less risky. When birds accept a backyard, it is rarely because of one object. It is usually because the whole space works well enough. The approach, the landing spots, the cover, the view, the escape routes, the windows, the water, and the quiet moments between disturbances. Once you understand that invisible flight map, bird behavior becomes less mysterious and more interesting. A bird that pauses on the fence is not wasting time. A finch that circles before landing is not being dramatic. A chickadee that takes one seed and disappears is not rejecting the yard. These are small decisions shaped by safety, habit, and the layout of the world below them. And when you begin to see your yard from that angle, you may stop asking only, "What food should I put out?" You may start asking the better question, "How does a bird get here safely, and where can it go next?"